we're going to go to text list, click on Adams Adult, and now you have this right here where it says string 0x000 whatever. You're going to type in your first file name, stand up, and it's just that. You just delete everything in there and type that in, and then you're going to click add. Now you're going to have a second one, and you're going to name it your second pose, which mine is sit, and then you're going to click commit file. Now we're going to go to PyMenu strings. Click on PyMenu strings, you're in the plugin view, so for this first one you're going to delete set flags and you're going to type in instead stand up and then start and click add, change start to stop. Then you're going to click add again, and this one is going to be your sit start, and then you're going to click add one more time, and this is going to be your sit stop. Okay, and then you're going to click commit file. So you see what I did there? Basically, instead of just having your one start and stop, I just clicked add 2 more times so that I could add the name of the second pose I was going to have. And these are basically going to be the little menu options you see when you're in game. Okay, so now we're going to go to behavior function and clone function init. So clone that, you've got your italicized one, rename it, your file name that you should have copied earlier, and mine was stand up, and then change init to start. Then you're going to go ahead and change your opcode and your operands, and we're going to fast forward through that. Click on the second bar and change that opcode and those operands. Click commit file. Take note of the fact that you can see where it says stand up right there in the text. So that's the name of your file. Now we're going to go ahead and copy your stand up start, and so clone it. I'm going to rename this one to stand up stop. You're going to delete the first bar, and then you're going to plug in the proper operands and opcode. Notice as well that you can see the name of your file under here in the text. Click commit, and then we're going to copy or clone our stand up start. So clone that, and you're going to rename it sit. So when you've cloned your stand up start and you've renamed it and everything, you're not going to change any of your values here except for on the second bar. And this top box for your operands, you're going to change it to 0, 1. And see how that changed it to sit? And so that means that now it's attached to your sit file. Click commit file, and now you're going to clone your stand up stop. Clone, and then there it is. And you're going to rename it, so now it's sit stop, and once again, this is where you change your operand. This would be the top box. So now you have it set to 0, 1, and it's attached to the sit file. Click commit file. And now here's a basic explanation of what you did and why you did it. So if you notice, when you cloned your first start and stop, basically you didn't change the opcodes and you didn't change the operands except for on the second bar of both your start and stop. You changed the first one so that it was to 0, 1, and you notice that the text down here changed to correspond with the proper animation. And the way this works is that for your start and stop, for your first one, it's the first operand on your second bar is going to be 0, 0 for both start and stop. For your second animation, on your second bar of both start and stop, the first operand is going to change to 0, 1. If you had a third one, you would change your first operand to 0, 2 for both start and stop. The key here is that the values don't change between start and stop for the single animation. It's the values change between different animations. So start and stop have the same operand first value of the second bar, and you would just go on from 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and onwards for however many poses you wanted. So that takes care of the operands, and now what you have to deal with is your instance values. So take a look up here and you see instance, right? And if you click on it, it will put things in like alphabetical order, or it'll put things in an order where it's like highest value to lowest. What you will notice is that your function main and function init have 0, 0, and 0, 1, right? And then all the other things that you cloned, they all have 0, 0 on the end. So basically, you've got a bunch of values here that are identical, and when it's like that, the game has no way to tell the difference between them. So what you have to do is you have to go in and edit each of the instance values, so they each have one number higher than the next. So because 0, 0 and 0, 1 are already claimed by function init and function main, you have to start with your first pose start, which would be our stand-up start, and you're in the resource tab and you go to instance and you change it to 0, 2, because remember function main and function init already have 0, 0 and 0, 1. So once you've changed your first pose's start instance value to 0, 2, click commit, go to stand up stop, and this one needs to be 0, 3 because you don't want it to be the same as if it was 0, 2 or 0, 0, that would conflict with values that are already taken. Now you go on to your sit start and you change that one to 0, 4, hit commit, and then you go to your sit stop and you change this one to 0, 5 and hit commit. And if you click instance, it will put things in numerical order so that you can check and make sure that everyone has a single different value. So the next thing we're going to do is go to Pie Menu Functions, click on Reaction Test Interaction Table, and go to Plugin View. So you're going to change your Guardian BHAV to just 0, 0, 0, 0, and you're going to define who's allowed to use the Posebox. Of course, you don't want puppies or kittens in any of that, so go ahead and change that now. So you change who gets to use the Posebox, and now you're going to change this for your PyString ID, make the first one stand up start, and change your action BHAV. It'll pull up a list in a second, sometimes it takes it a minute. And you want to change that to your stand up start. Go OK. Here's an interesting little fact. This value right here, these are the instance values we just edited. So remember I was saying 0, 0, 0, 1 for function main, function init, and then you go through and you go 0, 2 for the next one, and 0, 3, 0, 4. Okay, we're going to see how we use that in a second. Anyway, you click add. Your second one is going to be basically a clone, and this is why we went ahead and checked who gets to do what, because you wouldn't want to do that every time. Leave Guardian BHAV. You're going to change your PyString ID to stand up stop, and if you don't have to pull up the menu, you can just backspace and plug in 3. And see, there's stand up stop. That's your instance value that it's got plugged in there. That's not just some random number. Click add once again. You're going to change this to sit start and change this to 4, and you see that corresponds, that's proper. Click add one last time and change that to stop and change this to 5, and then hit commit file. Once again, these are all just the instance values, and okay, so that's pretty much all of it. So the only thing left to do to complete your Posebox would be to change the catalog description so that it has, whatever you want it to say in-game when you find it in your menu, and to change the texture image so that your Posebox has a different graphic instead of the, standard yellow box with the red arrow on it. And that is not something that changes just because you have more than one pose or animation attached to this box. The steps are exactly the same from what you've already learned. So we're going to fast forward through that, and then you just need to make sure you save this file. And so just go up to the little floppy disk icon and click save, and then you're finished.